Ladies and gentlemen, hello! How we doing? That was a big series before this one, but the energy seems to have not dissipated in the slightest. You're going to need it. Not only do we have a great series for you now, but we have another right after it. Should we get this on the road? Should we just get it going? They said yes. Let's rock and roll. First team to the stage, the Beasts from the East Coast, the winners of the first major, ladies and gentlemen, the new York Subliners! HyDra, Skyz, KiSMET, and Priestahh.
There's so much talent on that stage. They do not need to be in a loser situation, but they find themselves here. They're going up against the Florida Mutineers, who they beat a couple of weeks ago. Got to start their lower bracket run with another W. Let's bring out the Mutineers, Miles.
Thank you very much, Nameless. Yes, they're going up against the Florida Mutineers, a team that now we get to see for the first time here on LAN. Ready to rock and roll. Their opponents, time to fear the deep. Ladies and gentlemen, the Florida Mutineers! Fellow, Scrapz, Havoc, and Capsidal.
That new intro video got me hyped. Maybe top 3 of the league that we have right now, but they need some stats, some points, and some games to back it up. We haven't seen some of these players on LAN on the main stage in a hot minute, and it's time to see if New York can handle the Florida Heat. Let's get this series started, Miles.
Thank you, Ali. Yes, we haven't seen some of these players on the stage in a hot minute, but we can guarantee that this series will take more than a minute. It's going to go to a Game 5, because that's because your casters, Orlando and Study.
Thank you so much, Miles. Yes, indeed. I hate to tell you, crowd, whether you guys think it's going to be a 3-0 or 3-1. Jay, this is going 5 regardless.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Let's just be real about
That's just what we do, man. Every time we step into the booth, we're going to a Game 5. We're a little dipped. We're probably the time torches, but it's all good. I like this job.
I do indeed. You know what? On LAN, I love myself a good old Game 5. But we got to talk about it, right? Historically, we talk about these two teams matching up. It has been anything but a Game 5. New York 3-0 on the season versus Florida, let alone a most recent victory in our Major 3 qualifier. That was a smack show.
Oh, yeah, it was. Everything besides that map, number 1. That was the closest map. It was that HyDra hardpoint. It ended 250 to 228. Obviously, that one's not going to be in this series, but every other map after that, the Hotel Search and Destroy 6-2, the Control clean 3-0. So obviously, New York are coming into the series very, very confident. Florida Mutineers, we obviously haven't been able to see them all weekend long.
Right.
We just have to find out what they are about, man. You make that roster change, you get weaker in one of your stronger modes in Search and Destroy because you were trying to improve in the respawns, and at least throughout the stage, they were winning a couple hard points versus some of the topper echelon teams.
Yeah, I love what the Des touched on when it came down to the Florida Mutineers. It's like, you know what? Let's wake up. It's Major 3. We're in the middle of the season, and right now for the Mutineers, not in a great spot. When we talk about champs, victories like this is what has really made this Florida team famous throughout our past few seasons. We know what they were able to do in Vanguard. Now they need to do it here in MW2. And Jay, I know we're getting ready to fly in for Hotel Hardpoint, but stress the importance of what is our maps and modes for this series. Why is the opener, these first few, so crucial for the Mutineers?
Oh, this opening map is massive for the Florida Mutineers. You see their record overall 4-7 last in rotations, but with this new squad, they're actually 2-0. They were able to take down some titans like Seattle Surge, like the Boston Breach. Winning both of those maps is going to give you a lot of confidence. So you have to do the same exact thing that you did versus those squads, and you have to be able to take this map number 1, because when you talk about from maps 3 to 5, Fortress Control, that's New York's best map. Mercado, Hardpoint, they have yet to find a win, and even on the Hotel in that Game 5, New York already got the better of them there. So this map number 1 is everything for the Mutineers.
Yes, indeedy. Subliners v Mutineers. Can we be treated with a another Game 5 potentially? We just had a wild series that's going to be difficult to top that last one. Texas versus Ravens was absurd. But we jump in here toward P1, and so far, great job for the Mutineers. They eventually get cleared on out, and now it is time for New York to jump inside of the hard point.
Yeah, with only 30 seconds left, New York are able to find the break. You just got to be able to locate this player and fellow who sneaks his way right on by. You take care of him. You find both the players on the side of Florida who are trying to flip those spawns, and you're maintaining the better side of the map. So final 15 seconds should be able to go in favor of the Florida Mutineers, but now you have to try to execute a break. What's the plan? They're going to try to pursue Shandy's side. They're getting cut down by Priestahh.
Yep, Cap still walked away with the final few moments at P1. Big gunfight. Priestahh eventually goes down, but HyDra able to stop that push, Jay. I mean, it just feels like when we talk about a series, anytime that the Subliners are involved in it, you almost want to pick New York just because they have a HyDra. This guy has unbelievable explosive potential as they all begin to line up now for New York. That's 5 in a row as a team.
Oh, but that might be a mistake right there from New York. When they find all 4 of those kills, you get a little bit aggressive on the map, and now the spawns are going to flip. As now with HyDra pushed out the way that he is, he's going to pick up all that information. No one's attacking from the front. But Florida, they have the bodies. They find 3 kills. Last player in the point is going to be Skyz. Just got to get out with your life. Wait for your teammates to get back into play.
You can tell, man, for New York, like KiSMET, everybody spawned up for Florida that were getting ready to make their attack felt, and they just had no idea. Currently beat off the rotation. First player here is going to be player number 6. That's Havoc. He eventually drops. Trade after trade we go. New York currently with the numbers, and they need to walk away with these early fights, considering some of the interesting spawns that we just saw toward the end of P2. They handle business. First wave cleared, and now it could be the chance for the Subliners to get back in this game, and who knows, Jay, maybe take the lead.
Yeah, New York now fully set up. You know all of where Florida are going to try to attack from. As the trades are bound through the middle of the map. You have one player in KiSMET trying to set up that pinch. He eventually does get taken down, so now Florida have the numbers. You just have to find the trades.
Do indeed, Priestahh. Oh, gets cut down. Great gunfight victory there for Big Cap. Fellow ends up eating the nade, and with that, the Subliners very much still fighting for this time. Big 30 seconds still to fight for. This time it's KiSMET who's able to win in Florida. They've given it everything that they've got. But Subliners continue to shut the door in their face.
Now we got to cut the losses. You have to make sure you're rotating because already Skyz is going to put himself in a position to be there early for New York. HyDra with the pinch, he's able to cut down the last 2. And now with all of Florida coming off spawn, going to be coming from that bedroom side. Capsule has a big one-on-one versus Priestahh. He's able to take him down, but that's going to be New York winning that rotation. There's only 2 bodies here. Florida, they can find the break instantly.
Yeah, it could be somebody maybe like Capsule to help lead the charge. Mutineers, they do rifle their way just through this middle side, and from that, they've got the early seconds. I know, Jay, we talked a lot right about this Mutineers roster change, you know, trying to stay solid in Search and Destroy. Now when it comes down to Hardpoint, we're hoping that they would see improvements there. And well, it's been, you know, okay. You and I talked about it. It feels like maybe Capsule's the guy that we circle for Florida to hopefully make this team more well-rounded.
Oh yeah, without question, especially going up against like a team like New York. You have to make sure your SMGs are performing, and so far Capsule has answered the call. But New York are able to find the break in the final moments of this P4 hardpoint with only 25 seconds left. Florida are getting those bedroom songs, so they're still going to put pressure on it. Getting those close points, you just have to win a couple of these gunfights. They cannot do so. They cannot win the trades. New York come out on top once again.
They do indeed, and really with that, they've also got rotations set up toward restaurants. So hey, if you're Florida, throw some bodies at it. Not a big deal. Why? Because you're going to spot up at that next HP. I know we've been talking a lot about Capsule, but you got to take a look at the entire lineup here for the Mutineers. Big Cap coming in from the top rope. Another one is trying to come away, as that's going to be 2 in a row for him. Nearly makes it a 3rd. However, HyDra able to laugh his way to a trade in the end. Subliners prepare for the break. Can they find it early? It's the SMG duo of the Subliners who are trying to set up something special. Nearly elite change coming through. New York walking right forward.
And HyDra just hits such a perfect route right there. He's going to block that kitchen spawn to not make it easier for Florida. Just tunnel vision right in towards the diner. They find all 4 kills. Eventually they find the break, which was a beautiful pitch coming in from HyDra. So final 20 seconds, Florida, you got to hold down kitchen control. This is the angle you need to hold so the spawns don't flip. They're not giving up on the pressure, though, as Havoc and Fellow, they combine for 2, but they're just going to cut their losses. They're going to rotate, set up properly for the next hill.
I don't know about you, man, but I just feel like our first set of rotations so far have just been, you got the hardpoint rotation, big deal. It's really been about the breaks. 132 to 96 as we go toward parking lot. As we said, should be an opportunity where the Mutineers were able to get a decent amount of seconds, but New York could have something up their sleeve. More specifically, HyDra made his way behind enemy lines. He eventually does get found out. A nice 3 in the feed here for Florida. As we said, trying to get back in this game, maybe take the lead. They've been so close at a number of different opportunities. Priestahh makes his presence felt, and from there, New York strike.
That's good work right there from New York, and more specifically on Priestahh. He was the only player towards kitchen side. He finds 2 kills, so eventually find the break, and now flip the spawns. Florida all spawning out towards double deaths. Have to try to break it from the front end. Only 20 seconds remaining on towards top flat. New York are fully set up with all the crossfires. A nade comes in from Fellow, but it's not going to connect. The trophy is down. Can't find the kill onto Skyz. So the final 15 is going to go in favor of the Subliners. Now it's time to hit that rotation. And the second rotation of hard points. Back to the P1 we go.
think for New York, man, you're pretty happy with the scoreline that you have after the first set of rotations, most specifically because, I'll tell you what, Jay, like, every time it feels like that New York have been playing Hotel Hardpoint lately, it's gone down to like the last hill. It's specifically over at the diner. Oftentimes they've been on the bitter end of some of those close games.
Definitely have, man. I'm pretty sure 3 out of the last 4 times they have played this map, they have lost it between the margin of 50 points. They clutch up in that last series versus Toronto Ultra, but so far New York are in control of this game. They just have to do a better job this time around at this P2 hardpoint. You can't be super aggressive when you find all the kills and basically give Florida those free spawns.
Right now, player 7 and Brack trying to make a play toward the back. The comms here for New York are going to be crucial, so let's go ahead and step aside and go to listening with the Subliners.
Yeah, I'm just holding. I'm just chop.
On me hold.
I'm pretty sure one's.
On me hold.
Yeah, I'm watching our pins.
He's couches on me. Can you help
couches. I can get him if he peeks.
He's on. Nice, good job.
I'm holding P4.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive across the engine here.
Ready? P4?
Yeah, I can help you.
Yeah, I'm in P4.
Yo, he's back car on me.
One guy's coming down there.
Secret wall.
Secret wall. He's not weak on the right.
Be secret on me. Yo, P4 lobby.
Lobby,
one shot.
Lobby and secret wall. Lobby and secret wall.
Yeah, capsule on the lobby heading me.
You're good. Lobby.
Lobby. Secret wall, one shot.
Okay, one
secret wall, one shot. He's pushing up,
bro. He's only 2 on engine. 2 times 1 engine.
I go for it. One give me that cheers.
Secret wall. Really big secret wall. Laying down secret wall.
Need him. I got the choke.
Nice,
Cheers. That's probably hole. He went to the hill. Secret pillar.
He's weak on time. Close right.
Spawn engine. Yeah, I got your hole, okay?
Yo, P4, there might be secret. Help him secret, low-key.
Yeah, I need your lobby.
I'm gonna roll. Watch out.
Yo, somebody just said nice. Yo, in new,
okay?
In the week.
I'll your lobby.
I'm going to storage.
Can you go above me?
Hold on,
I'm going right.
Look at the wood cross. One's already in there, right?
Okay.
I had the back wood cross unless they're already there.
I have storage. I'm in storage.
I'm leaving this.
All right, well, a nice check-in there with New York. You can tell they were trying to set up a number of different plays over toward the lobby. Not sure if we heard Paco a whole lot so far throughout this game, but Jay's 22 and 16. The man is frying.
Yeah, you don't really got to talk when you put it up the numbers that he usually does, but New York, they were able to find the break with about 35 seconds over towards that P2, and that's why the lead is looking like the way that it is. Now winning that rotation over towards Kitchen. They can potentially close out this game here. Florida, they're set up all around the map, coming from every single angle. The break might be in.
Yeah, it absolutely has to. And I'll tell you what, man, that 30 seconds would definitely make the scoreline look a lot better. It's going to need to be a solid hold toward the end of the Kitchen. No contest time. You cannot afford to allow for New York to get a break, even really too much of a contest. Some team shots come forward that will definitely help a little bit here for the Mutineers. Can it be a last-second break now for the Subliners? KiSMET falls. Priestahh does too. A nice double there for Big Cat, but it's really going to be about this rotation. Scrap points awarded, but you need another big team fight win.
And right now, New York, they find themselves in a perfect scenario. You have Skyz that's already pushed out towards bedroom, so he's going to cause problems for all the players on the Florida Mutineers trying to locate where he is as he finds another kill on towards Havoc. Look at those spawns for Florida all the way towards Kitchen. They have to try to break through single arch, have to try to break through mid couches as New York are just rallying up that time. 25 seconds until they take map 1.
Fellow just went a lovely little headshot there on the Priestahh. We'll see if that can make enough of a difference. 50 points is currently the scoreline. 35 still left over at the bar. Fellow trying to lead this team back. Very much so the veteran when it comes down to this roster. However, he gets filled with lead. Skyz on the other side. Now at 5 in a row. He eventually drops. Mutineers still contesting, still fighting.
Doing a great job of just winning the trade battle. Havoc finds 2, Brack eventually flies in for the 3rd, so the final 15 should go in favor of Florida. Now you just have to win your rotations, but you do have KiSMET who spawns out towards back. So the break is going to come in the final 10 seconds, but you cut your losses if you are Florida. Now you have to get a flawless hold in towards the diner to get yourself back into this one.
Right now for Subliners, we've talked about it consistently. So many games have come down to the wire. Finally, can it begin to favor them? Mutineers early. They need to go for the team wipe. Capsule doing his job. Havoc as well. The same thing can be said, but have New York found their lane? Can Priestahh open things up? HyDra drops. Wave 1 clear, but here comes the next one. You could tell Subliners, they're trying to work out something, Jay, but they keep losing members.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what angle they want to attack from. They're going to try to go from Kitchen. Havoc cuts down one, but Skyz is there for the trade. So far, Florida Mutineers, they have turned up to a whole different level. Only down by 20 points. They cannot win the game here. So you see New York, they should do a great job of taking control of that Kitchen side. They're cutting their losses. They know that it's going to make it over towards the platform. You just have to win this next set of fights.
Oh my God, Havoc A big gunfight victory for him. As long as he stays stationary, the rest of the Mutineers can begin to make their way forward. Fellow does eventually drop, but here comes the pressure. Player 5, player 6, those are the guys right now to look out for here for the Mutineers. A big fight that they're going to need to take, and can it be Capsule's opportunity? Yes, he's able to grab it. New York, however, drop him, and now they've got the time. It's going to be another break from the front. Mutineers, they've got to get it done.
Only 5 seconds for both of these squads. Florida, they find the nade kill. They can close it out right now. They are going at New York. Come out doing what they need to do in the map, number 1, but do not have the ice in those final moments. Florida, take their time. Brack was the only guy staying alive towards back kitchen. And then eventually they set up the pinch from the front end. What a big nade kill comes in from Fellow. Relieves that pressure. The stack comes in from Florida Mutineers. And they take map 1.
It's another situation, Jay.
Oh my, man.
It's another hotel hardpoint that is within now 6 points. This is what happened yesterday versus Toronto. Another close hotel hardpoint loss that has got to sting. If you are the Subliners, we were bringing up the stats, we were bringing up the statistics. But for the Subliners, I mean, it felt like they were in control pretty much throughout that game. Some dicey moments. Obviously, the Mutineers had a good situation here or there, but it started with Bar. From that point forward, they got the early rotation, big 1v1s that went their way. And then obviously we could talk about the parking lot all day, man, but that is a huge loss here for the Subliners. As we'll go and take a look at the highlights, Jay.
I just think New York just made a couple mistakes on this map. When you talk about their setup towards double deaths, they did a great job of finding their first set of kills, but they were controlling the spawns. You know where Florida are coming from. That's from the middle of the map. They have to push through single arch, but they didn't put themselves in the best positions to win those easy gunfights. Florida were finding break after break, and then when they needed to get a flawless hold over towards the diner, which is not an easy hill to hold.
No.
Like, you're usually getting those middle close spawns. That's what New York were getting. They just couldn't figure out the angle they wanted to take. It's either we're going to rat back through Shandy's side, one player drops in. And now you got to rotate over towards the kitchen side, and the trades are bound. Florida was just ready for the action over towards that diner point, and then at this point, it's a photo finish, man. New York, they had the back spawns, but with Brack staying alive in that position, he's spawning those players all the way across the map for New York, to where it opens up that front push for Florida. Once they find that nade kill, just simply stay down, get the time, and close out the map number 1. That's a tough pill to swallow if you are New York.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like in that moment, right, where we're at parking lot, Mutineers, all 4 players, aware of what needs to be done, right? Fellow tosses out his nade, he stays alive. Brack's winning his fights on the other side of the map that could have made a crossfire happen to kill Fellow. Just wonderful coordination there toward the end. As the Mutineers, we talked about it, the big stress with this new roster is that they really don't have a specialty when it comes down to their game modes. Different modes have maybe not seen the improvement that we would have liked, but another hardpoint win. It's starting to get better, Jay.
And you just think about that ending scoreline, 244 to 250. New York, on the very first attention to hard points, gave up the P2 for free.
Yeah.
They got all 4 kills and was so aggressive on the map that they allowed Florida to get the free back spawns and then find the break and hold it for about 30 to 40 seconds. Those are little mistakes that you can't make at this level, because every single team in the CDL are all professionals. Some of the best players that we have in the world, they will be able to capitalize on it, and Florida took advantage of that situation.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And, you know, you and I, we've chatted about it so far to kick off this series. We even talked about it before we, you know, put on the headsets, the lights turn on. You know, it's close enough, Jay. The headsets, lights, you know, it gets confusing. But we talked about it a lot, and it was a matter of like, hey, when it comes down to map vetoes, Florida, just do as much damage as you can at the start and just try to hold on. Job done in game 1. Fortress Search and Destroy, man, this is a wonderful map historically for the Mutineers, no matter what roster iteration we've got.
Oh yeah, that's the scary part, man, is that Florida are 4-1 compared to New York, who are 3-4, that just played this map yesterday versus Toronto Ultra. And the biggest thing that New York made mistakes on is their first bloods. They got 6 out of 9 first bloods, but they only converted 2 of those rounds. You see the scout reports all throughout Major 3. They were 3rd overall in the map records. Hardpoint, 3rd. S&D, 6th, and then Control, 2nd. Like, their respawns are on point. S&D is where they have to usually work on. Last time these 2 teams matched up, it was New York getting the better of them on a totally different map. But with Florida taking that map number 1, all momentum has to be on their side, and now they're going into their best search and destroy as an organization.
I forget what numbers Davis was bringing up earlier. Brack is like a 4 KD.
It's unreal, man.
On Fortress Search and Destroy. So I think if you're New York, you got to handle that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't allow for the guy to get a 5 KD. That's just not possible, Jay.
You can't allow him
There's
to go
no way.
off. And I'm pretty sure he usually does it on the defensive end. When Brack is on the lineup for the Florida Mutineers, when they're playing some Fortress Search and Destroy, he is 15-1 on the defensive side.
All right.
That's unbelievable. It's basically guaranteed. They are the best defensive team on Fortress Search and Destroy. And with him putting up the numbers that he is, you have to look at that guy to keep pace on this map to potentially put his team up 2-0. New York have to try to respond to. Look at those numbers, man. Oh my God.
All right, well, his defensive KD is a 15. So we're just breaking all kinds of barriers right now. Throw the stats out the window. Brack, a different beast. So far throughout the season, by the way. It's not just one map. It's not just one stage. No, he's been doing this so far throughout the season. I know he was dropped for a little while, but you get the point. Nade's tossed out to round 1 we go. New York on attack, and well, there is a first blood.
That's a beautiful team nade. Coming in from Florida to find that first kill onto Priestahh. No trophies to work with. So you know they're not going to be aggressive over towards that A site. So now in the 3v4 situation, you have KiSMET holding down the double windows, making sure no one's going to hop up. But Havoc put himself in such a great position. He's going to be the guy that can make the play.
Very much so. Snuck through enemy lines, hanging out inside of bottom cannons. With that, first few shots are going to be revealed. Obviously, as we talked about, it was the nade over the top that ended up taking down Priestahh. But now Havoc, his opportunity to strike does not spot player 3 in Skyz. So with that being the case, it now brings it into a 3v2. Florida with numbers. Problem being for Subliners is they've got to get that bomb. And right now, the only viewpoint, Jay, looks like maybe a B bomb site rotation. But right now for Mutineers, they got all angles covered.
Yeah, right now New York, they're just trying to sniff out where Havoc is playing because he's causing them problems as he's able to take down his best friend in KiSMET. Those guys have a lot of history together, but now it's all on to Skyz in the 1v3. With only 20 seconds left, no dead silence to work with. Just going to fly out, go for an ego chow. And Florida Mutineers take the round number 1, get that first blood with the nade. Then it was all on to Havoc, just putting himself in that position towards bottom arc, caused so many problems in the New York camp. Florida take round 1.
Yeah, it feels like that round 1 is a perfect example of why we expect the Mutineers to be at least better at Search Destroy. Now, I've had a few chats in the green room. I feel like this Florida team should be elite in Search Destroy. Regardless of all that, you get to lay witness to the talent this roster has. Nice little pre-nade coordination coming in from Fellow. As you talked about it, Jay, Havoc, nice and aggressive. Causing some issues early here for New York. Now it's Florida's chance at the attacking side, and as per usual here on Fortress, you know roughly where players are going, but now it could be HyDra's turn to cause a bit of issues. Nice long-range shots. Tries to go for the snap. He gets dealt with 3v3.
3v3 now. Take care of the aggressor on the side of New York. So you can potentially start working towards this bomb plant at A. They're trying to sniff out where the other player is. They're able to take down Priestahh. Now make it a 3v2, all left up to KiSMET and Skyz. And look at Skyz. He's just going to take some map control, put himself in a position to at least stop the bomb plane.
Able to win that one. Now brings it into a 2v2. Mutineers, with the process of Skyz essentially leaving the bomb site. That's going to allow for a free plant. And Capsule will get out unscathed. So now it's going to be up to KiSMET and Skyz. Deddy popped there for the Bulldog. We'll see what information he can find as he looks to try and make a bit of a dent. Gain a bit of map positioning, a bit of map control. Capsule pops up, and the same thing can be said there for Brack. Lovely work for Florida in that tight 2v2. Plant the bomb, get out of Dodge, and make New York come to us.
That's just good work right there from Florida to take down HyDra, make it a 3v3, and not give up on the aggression coming in from the street side. They take down Priestahh, force it to a 3v2. Even though Skyz is able to take down 1, no hesitation on that bomb plant. Put someone towards the back 18. The other player playing towards the tree as they set up that crossfire flawlessly and take round 2.
Another situation where New York, much like yesterday, find the first blood, not able to convert the round. That was a big issue yesterday versus Toronto. Want to see them be better in spots like that. A chance to improve, but as we said for New York, you've got to be solid. You brought it up earlier, Jay. Every single team right now in the CDL is going to put up a very solid fight. As utility is tossed, information is gained. 59 seconds now.
Yeah, this is where Florida just do their work. On the defensive end, no one's budging, no one's trying to make a heroic play. So they're just watching the cross over towards the bomb. Once you see a couple players cross, this is where you invest those tacks. But now that they know The bomb is now going to be planted. They're sending 3 players towards the flank. HyDra's going to have his hands full. He's able to take down one, but Havoc there for the instant trade.
Good work from Havoc. Now it's going to be on really to the Subliners' back defense. KiSMET, as much damage as he can do from the front would be wonderful. Skyz able to handle one. KiSMET not able to escape with his life. Havoc continuing to try to cause as many problems as possible. Fellow is going to be on that bomb. Havoc drops, but Fellow ends up hopping off of it, understandably so. New York are still here. The ARs, very much so, having a wonderful time in the back of the spawn, making Florida scramble. Havoc did all he could. But from there, New York grabbed their first round.
Yeah, Havoc was just trying to make the play, trying to keep his teammate alive in Fellow. So he was trying to hop that defuse, but once he drops, Fellow knows that they have 18 control. There's no way I can commit towards this defuse. And eventually, New York with the setup around the bomb once they get it down. You hold down that back 18, you throw a couple of snakes in, you're able to secure the round. New York finally get one on the board, now down 2-1.
This is going to be an aggressive round from HyDra. He has brought out that sniper. Oh, I thought he hit the shot, but it's KiSMET who ends up landing the nade. Capsule has some words as well. A Semtex and a frag so far have stamped themselves here in round number 4. We talk about it often, HyDra with that sniper in hand, historically, has been fun to watch, but it hasn't led to a whole lot of round success. He ends up falling. The same thing can be said for KiSMET. Fellow knocking him down. It looks like a shooting gallery. Skyz, last man up and position known.
All up to Skyz. He finds the first kill onto Fellow. Still 22 seconds to work with. He knows that at least one player is going to be in towards Art, but Capital does not give up on the fight. Florida Mutineers trade in the first bloods. Then are able to make it a 3v3, get that bomb down, and force New York to retake. They usually find a lot of success. We remember that series versus OpTic, right? 2v4s they were able to do, but not that time around. Florida just too strong in the setup once they get the post plant, and they're able to now go up 3-1.
I want to ask you quickly before we jump into this round, thoughts on HyDra using the sniper? I know he dies there by a nade, but are you okay seeing him rock that weapon from time to time? I mean, it just feels like the playmaking opportunity sometimes can cause some issues if he's not able to do HyDra things.
Oh yeah, it's very difficult when you have that sniper pistol in hand.
Oh, all right.
Like a player like HyDra, who usually just dominates with the submachine gun, but I would like to see him just put that away. We're down 1-3. We don't have to take any more risky plays. It's due to what your strength is. Keep that Basnap out, as he is going to get first blooded on the round. Florida fully set up for the defensive push. Capsule finds another.
Great reaction there for Big Cap.
Oh, no.
KiSMET and Skyz, though, on the other side, end up finding a 2-for-1 trade. Now with that being the case, Brack is going to pop that dead silence and now allow for New York to have to make the play call, and it very well could be a B bomb site rotation. You did see dead silence pop from one member. Brack ends up getting the information, most important part. He stays alive, tags up Skyz in return. Florida no now, Jay.
Florida no. Now that the bomb is going to be getting planted over towards B, so 2v2 on the retake. Brack's going to take his sweet time, pushing his way to the stables. He's able to take down KiSMET. All up to Skyz. He gets cut down. And Florida Mutineers on the defensive end are the best team in the game. Even in a 2v2 situation, no panic. There's no pull-up bar here, but Havoc is still making it happen. That guy's always trying to get a workout in.
I don't know, Jay, that doesn't look like a whole lot, like a pull-up to me, but an interesting exercise. He's also getting some sprints in. I love that. He's very agile. His hair is just blowing in the wind right now, Jay, and he's giving some love to Brack. Maybe a kiss on the cheek. Good job, buddy. You got a good KD on Fortress.
Especially
Keep it
on
up.
Defense.
Absolutely.
That was a defensive
Look
round.
at that. Wonderful transition, Jay.
That's just good work right there from Florida to play it super patient. I thought Brack was going to get some timing, but he was trying to watch that cross.
Oh, thank goodness.
Back to Havoc. He's got the moves, man. He's got the moves.
I don't know if it's actually, if we're allowed to show a slow motion replay of that.
No, I don't think we want to. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I'm good with it. A good moment there for Florida. Now, by the way, up 4-1 in this search to strobe. We got to talk about that, New York. You got to wake up.
Another one.
Another first blood. HyDra. Oh my God, he nearly ended up getting picked for a second one. Capsule in return finds another. We're instantly in now to the 2v2. Havoc eager for info has got it, but now it brings it into a 1v1 HyDra versus Brack. And I believe Brack has popped that dead silence, so HyDra is going to have no idea. A free kill. for Mr. 4KD. Florida now find themselves up 5-1.
I was waiting for this Florida Mutineers roster for quite some time. Show their stellar performance in Search and Destroy, especially when you allow a map like Fortress to get in. They're one of the best teams that we have on this map, and they're showing why. They put themselves now at game point with only 3 First Bloods on the map. They're just clutching up in a majority of these rounds in the man disadvantage. Now New York has to try to put something together, man. They have to try to fight back.
Gotta do something. Okay.
Oh my God.
There you go. Havoc strikes early. Dead silence initiated. He'll have that one for a little bit longer. Bomb planted. New York trying to make them come to them. And Florida says, absolutely, I would love to. Make it 3 to kick off this round. KiSMET, does he have an answer? He sees players, but right now, Fellow is on that bomb. Goodbye, KiSMET. And hello to a 2-0 start to this series. Their first match on land together, and they're feeling good. Fist bumps are out. And on the other side of the stage, Jay, New York have got to be a tad dazed after seeing that 6-1 scoreline pop up.
Oh yeah, without question, man. We talk about a close, very close map, number 1, and then going into a Search and Destroy that you played yesterday versus Toronto, you saw the little mistakes that you needed to fix. When you're getting that first blood, you have to make sure that you're winning those trade fights. But Florida Mutineers, just way too strong on the defensive setup. You have playmakers like Havoc who finds the timing every single time. We saw it early in round number 1. Puts himself in that position towards bottom art. He was just causing so many problems for the Subliners. Every time he found the first blood, it was usually onto HyDra, which is their playmaker on the opposite end. Florida just came out and played some flawless Search and Destroy, man. But what's going on with New York? This is the team who won Major 1, man. And they're down now 2-0 versus Florida Mutineers, who are 11th overall still in the standings.
The only thing that I know, Jay, is for FaZe, don't play them on Embassy Search Destroy.
Yeah.
For Florida, don't play them on Fortress Search and Destroy. My God, now find themselves up 2-0. I mean, we were talking about how this very well could be, a situation where New York, they wake up a little bit late. It's going to be a fun series, sure. Maybe Florida can have a map here or there. They're up 2-0. We wanted them just to make a decent dent.
Yeah.
Now they're up 2-0. A Fortress control where this team has technically yet to lose. They've only played it 1 time. Mutineers, you find yourself in a very good spot now for New York. Already, as Jay called it, our Major 1 winners left in a very difficult position. It's going to have to be a reverse sweep just to stay alive. But ladies and gentlemen, make sure to stick with us as Fortress control is up right after the break.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the SCUP, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Alrighty, friends, and welcome back to day 2 here of the OpTic Texas Major. It's been a wild day so far of elimination games, but I gotta take a look, Jay, at our last map. Having a blast, and I'll tell you what, man, our stats team was hard at work. They were crunching the numbers. 3-0 this season when Havoc does pull-ups. That's wild.
That's insane, man. The guys, every time they get a W, it's usually this guy getting a nice little workout in, man. But they made that search for sure look easy. 6-1 dominant fashion. Like, Havoc's just, I don't know if he's as big as Doug Sensor, but that many pull-ups, brother. I mean, you got to be getting up there.
Anything is possible, I'll tell you that much. I think it's fair to say Havoc very well could be looking for different junction spots on every single Search Destroy map to keep that statistic rolling. But speaking of rolling, right now, Florida Mutineers absolutely are, right? For New York, we talked about it. Our Major 1 champions, we hold them to a very high standard, high regard. There's been conversations about, you know, the flights when it came down to Major 2. Was that team really there or not? I mean, from a standings point of view, you finish first, and then you finish top 8 and top 12. I gotta say, man, it's undeniable that a series loss here, whether it's 3-0, game 4, game 5, whatever it is, losing to Florida, it definitely knocks you down a peg or 2.
I know, but you forgot that we're casting it. So
that's true.
It's still 3 maps left to be played. New York Subliners going into some Fortress Control. They have a 7-1 record, and the reason why is because they are second on attack. They are also second on defense, and they also have the second best player on the attacking side when it comes to KD, and that's HyDra, 1.19. So New York are far from done in this series, but they now have to win their best control map. I think they have a good shot with HyDra on their squad.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and I think for the Subliners, it's time to get a little bit of frustration out here on the defensive side. Just get Mutineers pinned back in their spot, at least if you can. Already for the Mutineers, they made themselves a very sizable dent quickly over at that A zone. A matter of moments before they can really get that first capture in. KiSMET dancing around, finds that one, and from there, work to be done here for the Mutineers, but a big victory there for Brack. Guarantees that segment.
Yep.
They'll take that for Florida.
Yeah, he's definitely taking that, because already 1 segment done. You didn't have any trophy to work with at the beginning of this round, but job well done. To at least get 1 completed. Now with the minute and 15 on the clock. He's got some time to get out. Capsule finds himself already in art, causing all the players from New York a little bit of problems. But he's just trying to make an opening for his teammates to try to get out. They're going to turn around and go over towards B now.
Player 7, player 8, men to look out for. KiSMET goes low. And with that, fellow, we'll see the respawn screen. 1 segment is all that the Florida Mutineers have. They've had a good, few opportunities. They've definitely had their chance to make it past that 50-yard line, but will there be another chance? Can they have a little bit of cohesion to make their way through the setup again, or is this where the spawn trap truly gets put in force? After winning a few of those fights, Jay, I would definitely say it's looking more like the spawn trap side of things, a 4 down. This is going to be potentially a very painful 33 seconds.
Yes, now if you are Florida, just want to don't get outslayed heavily in this round, just in case they are able to tie it up in segments. Take your time, try to find an opening, but New York is still cutting them all down. Currently on a 17 spree as Skyz and HyDra are trying to work towards earning that cruise missile. Florida just going to take their time. They said, we gave up too many lives. Let's just chalk this round up, and obviously the crowd's going to let you know about it.
I'll take that if I'm Cap. Skyz on a 5. Priestahh not able to find that, but at least for Caesar, you are going to have that streak moving forward into round number 2. So 1 tick on the board, pretty standard stuff when it comes on a Fortress on attack. I guess you'll take it if you're the Mutineers, but you'd have definitely loved, given a few of those opportunities, to have a little bit more to your name as the first round comes to a close. And like we said, man, for the Subliners, you got a streak moving in. You can definitely use that in this next round.
Yeah, this is what you want to do for this next round right here. You want to invest that cruise missile to at least earn yourself 1 segment complete. So that might be what Skyz is now thinking about. So he ends that round on a 6 spree. Can potentially try to extend that, but now with New York on the attacking side, they have trophy systems that are able to get out and make their way over towards B.
See what they could do with those trophies down. We talk so often about the early team fights here on Fortress Control, specifically for the attacking side teams. Early team fights are everything. Currently padded up. A few tags to back there from HyDra. Paco's got it back on and up. From there, Rack eventually does drop him. That being the case, one last player's behind enemy lines. Rack, you gotta turn around. Okay, KiSMET takes down 2. Opportunity found. Can the Bulldogs make the play? That's gonna be another. KiSMET opening things up now for the rest of the roster. They've got 3 men now inside of the B zone.
Already 1 second complete. Florida know that they cannot give this one up for free. Fellow finds the first kill with the nade. Whole lot of pressure through the backstabs. Trades are bound. All falls onto the Bulldog, but he gets taken care of. He sets up HyDra to set up that flank. Find those 2 kills. Second segment already done. This has been a great round from New York, even if they lose this.
Yep, that's exactly right. They'll go ahead and take the lead when it comes down to the segment. So for the next 40 seconds, you at least do have an advantage, but I am sure they want more than that. Skyz is trying to go on a bit of a run. He now has an open lane to get into that B zone. Snaps on 1, not able to jump onto the second, runs out of ammo, but he'll quickly get that tack. Ready to go forward once more. A few missed jump spots, but can New York make another push at any of these zones? As they'll run right on forward. They've got a 2-man stack in it. This could be B zone captured.
Oh my.
And it will be. Texas go crazy. It's been captured. The B zone has been grabbed, and there could be more on top of it. A few go down, and now for the Subliners, they have stopped that time again.
Things can start to get dangerous if you're not ironing up right now for the Florida Mutineers. All the kills in the feed are going in favor of New York. 14-9 in lives remaining. Havoc finds 2 to at least relieve some of that pressure. It would look like not be an easy round for New York. They're able to complete that B point, extend time by a minute, and they're keeping up in the sling. You're going to invest that cruise. You're trying to close out this round now.
Fellow able to stay up. Information gain. Can T Fellow stay alive? Pistol out. Not able to whip. They're on the HyDra. Paco able to find another one. Mutineers down to just 4 respawns. New York stacking the point, and this is going to be a round somehow, some way, either through live or through segments. Mutineers doing what they can. Skyz, oh my goodness, great work as they'll be able to cut away the Mutineers. Job done for New York as they have answered and then some here in this game 3.
Now, Florida, they just got to think about winning an attacking round because segments are going to be out of play. So they currently find themselves down by 5. As New York just do everything correct in those moments, finding all the kills in towards Art, pressure over towards B. I would have liked to see at least a Florida player wrap back towards the back steps, try to take somewhat stage control, but everyone was trying to play in towards Art. And New York holding down the map position eventually found that opening to take that attacking round. Now, Florida need a miracle. You have to try to win an attack.
That's exactly right. Miracle indeed. A 2-0 cutback on Fortress Control has happened, maybe, but at least it hasn't happened for a while, I would imagine. HyDra, aggressive. Okay, he just has to heat up. Life. Paco, just run, just fry. Have a good time, buddy. That is exactly what the comms, I'm sure, are sounding like right now for the Subliners. KiSMET trying to get aggressive. He falls. As we said, the slide numbers so far for New York have been impeccable. Priestahh, he's been having a great time just sitting in the Jansport watching everybody fry. But it is a chance now for the Mutineers. They've got 3 players inside of that B zone. How long can they stay up?
First segment already in. HyDra's just going to throw this nade. Make sure he's able to clear out all these close corners as the contestant's going to come in from the back end. Havoc's able to take down KiSMET. As now New York is trying to set up for the pinch, but Florida, they're cutting them all down. Okay. That's a clean 4 dead. B's already done and dusted. Now you just have to make that transition over towards A.
This is already, I think, maybe the most interesting Fortress Control that we've seen in a while.
Unbelievable. So many segments.
I love seeing that B zone be captured, Jay. It's lovely. Minute 30 on the clock, some time to work with. Absolutely if you're Florida, but you can't get too ahead of yourself. I was going to say that mid-map positioning, sometimes it can be great, sometimes not so much. Back to the drawing board, back to the spawns, go Florida. Like we said, they've done a great job so far, but minute 20 on the clock, they found those 2 picks. What can they do with it? Fellow trying to lead the charge, lead the comms. As they're running forward into Blacksmith, it just feels like they continue to drop. When it comes down to their numbers, Fellow falls. And like we said for the Mutineers, just feels like they're starting to run out of steam.
Oh, but Florida, they're able to find 2 kills. HyDra at least takes down 1 in towards Capsule. So you can take a little bit of map controls. They're able to take down HyDra. Now your only focus is on where is KiSMET. He's been causing them problems all around maps. You eventually take care of him, but he does earn that cruise missile. So now with only 45 seconds left, 14 to 12 in lives remaining, KiSMET's going to invest that cruise. He's going to give all the information to his teammates and try to put them back in the trap.
Strict lands. Damage done. HyDra, yep, he'll pick up right where the streak will leave off. 30 seconds to go. Very well. What could be the final 30 seconds of this game number 3? New York, we talked about it, we discussed it. They've got to answer, they've got to wake up, and they absolutely have. Across the board, wonderful slaying numbers from KiSMET, Skyz, and HyDra. 3 lives left, the white flag is out. NYSL are gonna stay alive and keep this series afloat. 3-0 in game 3.
That was just too easy right there for New York. They started off on the defensive side. They only allowed Florida to take 1 segment, but when they go on that attack, just the pressure the ARs were putting on and also the SMGs with full-on arc control, they were just finding all the kills in the right moments and were able to take an attacking round and eventually close it out on defense. That's just textbook right down in New York. That's what they do on a map like Fortress, one of the best teams we have in the game. Clean 3-0. The ending score is now New York stay alive in this series.
Whew, able to stay up, and I don't know.
Telling you, brother, we're going.
It feels like we're on the journey to potentially a game 5. Regardless of it, though, got to give a lot of props, though, to the Subliners. We talked about it, right? They needed to wake up. They needed to have an answer. Fortress control, I mean, how often does it go to round 5? It feels like incredibly often. This time, though, for the Subliners, it felt like they just maybe had a little bit more of an oomph to them, right? It just felt like every time they were in a situation, whether it was KiSMET who was able to rifle away a few, they just had so many opportunities when it came down to that B zone. But round 2 really is the one to highlight. However, we'll take a look at every single highlight so far throughout this game. And, well, Jay, it's definitely going to be a lot of New York highlights.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Without question. Florida couldn't really find anything to do on this map besides completing that 1 segment over towards that A point. Did a great job of at least maintaining map control, but I think this was a game-changing play of the game. We saw KiSMET with great trigger discipline. He's able to find that 2 kills, which eventually allows his teammates to stack over towards B, close out that point, and then maintain the map control the way that New York did. They take the control, stay alive in this series, and now looking forward, we have a Mercado hardpoint where Florida Mutineers, even with their new roster, have yet to play it, but with their old roster, they were sitting on a fat donut, 0-6 on this map. So I'm telling you, man, I just have a feeling we're going to another game 5.
I know, Jay, but we got to talk about it. We got to, you know, there's still a game 4 to be played. We can't count out the Florida Mutineers. Can we? No, we definitely cannot. Right? They went up 2-0 in the series. Drake the Search destroy. I mean, I'll be honest, it felt like in the opening hardpoint that we had on Hotel, that was New York's game to lose, and they lost it. They squandered it, but finally able to get a respawn under their belt. KiSMET dropping some big stats here. 25 and 11, just an all-out brawl. You see 83 to 50 in total kills. Does not get much better than that, but we talk about that Mercado hardpoint that's coming up next. We discussed it, right? Florida team yet to play it. Really, every iteration of this roster has not seen success. On the flip side for New York, a great map, but they haven't played it in a while.
Yeah, New York haven't played it since January 15th, but the last time they did play it, they found a victory. They have an overall record of 4-2. What makes them great at this map is that they are the #1 breaking team on a map like Mercado, where it's very difficult to break a majority of these hills. They are 3rd in overall rotation, and they are 2nd in holes. Going up against Florida, like I said, who's sitting on a donut, 0-6. They haven't played with the new squad, but with the old team, biggest thing that they struggled with was their breaks, which was dead last, their holds, which was about 10th, and also their rotations, which was sitting around the middle of the pack. I just think that New York finally woke up in this series. If they do what they need to do correctly, if you're winning your rotations, even if you're not, if you're finding those breaks like you have been with the #1 breaking team in NYSL, they're going to be able to force that game 5. Fellow, he didn't have the best performance in that map number 3, but he's a guy with that veteran leadership who's going to be leading in the communication. You have to make sure you're staying a foot ahead when you're talking about Mercado hardpoint.
And Jay, from your standpoint, from your expert opinion, does it feel like for Florida, it has to be here? Like, does it have to be done in game 4, or do they have that game 5 they can still rely on?
I think I think Florida, even in this situation, if they fall short in this map number 4, just the way that we saw their S&D performance in that map number 2, this is also a game number 5 on Hotel S&D where they have previously matched up. So you know what New York like to do.
Okay.
I just think you have the homework in your favor. You just have to come out and probably try to close it out in this series. You don't want to force it all the way to the game 5 where all the nerves are on. You're probably thinking in the back of your mind, we can't get reverse swept. We need all these points. They're still trying to make it into champs. They only have a total of 60 CDL points, and taking down a team like New York would change the confidence for this young Florida roster. So they don't have to get it done in 4. I think they still have a chance if it goes to 5, but if you're Florida, control your own fate, try to close it out in 4.
Absolutely, man. We're going to take a look at the Florida Mutineers scouting report. As we said, a lot of eyes on this roster when it comes down to the recent roster change that they make. A lot of people were curious to see what this team was going to look like coming into the Major 3 qualifiers. Can they improve in their hard point? And obviously you can see the record doesn't necessarily show it, but they did walk away with that opening hotel hard point W. When you get to LAN, Jay, I mean, obviously you know it as a player, being in front of the crowd. You got some guys who really love being in front of a crowd like this, being on the main stage, maybe being on LAN, being in Texas is exactly what this Florida team needs.
Yeah, Florida, at least in that map number 1, completely turning the tides. When you talk about that dead last and hard point. This new squad, though, they have an overall record of 8-27. With the new team, they are 4-5 in hard points, so that's good. That's something you definitely are looking forward to. And now I really don't know what to expect because this team has yet to play Mercado hardpoint. We don't know if they're going to be one of those stellar teams off the rotation with great communication, cutting their losses early. So I'm super excited to see what this new squad is able to do.
Well, with the roster that they have, what do you think when it comes down to players to look out for? What guys can really make this team a stellar roster on Mercado hardpoint?
I think it's going to have to be in bracket fellow. Like those guys with the ARs have to put themselves in a power position. We're talking about money hills towards P2, bottom cantinas, even towards the P6, top cantinas. Everything on that side of the map, your ARs are able to hold down lanes by themselves. So I'm really looking at them just winning their rotations to a couple hard points, holding down the power positions, and opening up those lanes for their SMGs.
And I'll be honest, man, I am, if I'm Florida, I'm also a little concerned to see HyDra on Mercado hardpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Just, you know what the guy can do. We saw him do some damage when it came down to Fortress, another close quarter map. Got to be careful with it. But, Jay, we also got to talk about Place Them Right, by the way. I know that we're all here in Texas. We're having a wonderful time. But if you haven't already, make sure to load up, get in the game. And within probably, I don't know, Jay, 2 hours, you'll be a higher rank than me.
Yeah, that is despicable, my friend. I don't understand what you were doing. Why are we not grinding? I haven't been able to play Call of Duty with you for a long time.
Within like 48 hours, you were already top 250. Yeah. I literally couldn't even play with you.
But we were in the green room casting the online stage. You were telling me you were getting turned on left and right, brother. That's unacceptable. We need to get better gunning.
Are you going to do that in front of these fans?
I'm sorry, man. I just got to tell the truth. I'm not a liar.
I thought we had something special.
We do have something special, but we got to get better. We got to be grinding.
All right, Jay, we got to, okay. After the series is over, we got to get like a therapist of some sort to improve this. Absolutely disgusting. Mercado hardpoint coming up next. It's going to be a blast, guys. So far this series, he's having a ball. A 1.5? That's ridiculous. Caesar Skyz Bueno investing in his game as per usual. We talked about the vet when it comes down to this Florida lineup and Mr. Tyler Fellow. T-Fellow. See what he can do. Putting in the lovely work when it comes down to the objective in that opening hotel. But can it be ice for the Mutineers? Can they lock it up here on Mercado? Get those points that they are so desperately needing when it comes down to champs at the end of the year? Or can the Subliners force us to a Game 5? Here we go.
We're starting off on this map. It's New York starting off on the better side. We're talking about Skyz having a phenomenal series, and he already starts it off with a nice little 3-piece in the feed. Make it 4. They're trying to maintain that green side of the map, but one player is going to be able to slip on through. Brack, he's going to put himself in that position. Now he's able to flip those spawns for Florida. But New York are doing a great job of just getting all this time off of this P1 as much as they can.
Yeah, they can. Well, Skyz is making the highlight plays, but ultimately it is the Mutineers doing a wonderful job when it comes down to really the point of the game, the objective of the game. They'll have their toe now into P1, but more specifically, they've got the rotation now toward Cantina. Without question, we talked about Mercado, lots of money hills, but these two in specific over at the Cantina, bottom and top, are the ones to look out for. Skyz to start early with some highlights, but now it is Big Cap's turn. Trying to get things going. That's now going to be 4 in a row for him. Do we have 5? Is 5 on the cards? No, not going to happen. Mutineers take the lead.
Mutineers take the lead, and now it's all on to Brack and Fellow. They combine for 3. The ARs winning those close engagements are able to hold the first person from New York. Fellow finds 4 in the feed, so now this is where New York are put in the situation we have to cut our losses. We have to give up that final 30 seconds. We have to be able to set up properly around this thin hill. As Priestahh does at least find that kill onto Brack, able to take him off of a little bit of time towards this P2. But it's going to be New York in that full rotation over towards 10.
All right, fellow. Lovely 8-3 start for him. We were talking about how he's been in the objective, but this man can still slay. Ladies and gentlemen, 8-3. After 2 hard points, the last iteration of the Mutineers, as we said, 0-6 when it came down to Mercado hardpoint. They were last in breaks, but what can this team do? One player spawns out, a current 4v3. Brack looking for the angle as Mutineers begin their attack.
Hey, you just got to bait for Fellow right here. You know how crucial that cruise missile can be in the later half of this game. So he's just going to try to push right on in. He eventually does drop the KiSMET. I would like to see Fellow just take his time there because that kill was so important. Eventually leads to KiSMET finding 3. So New York needed a response at the 10 hill to get themselves back into this game. And it's looking like it's potentially going to be a full 60 hold for them to take the lead.
Yeah, like you said, man, that just did not look like a very well-coordinated moment there. It's like if you're looking for at least 1 out of the 2, and it felt like for Florida, they go 0 for 2. Whether streaks or breaks, they don't find either. And quickly, New York have not just found themselves back in this game, but a full 60 over at 10 will now lead them into this game, give them the advantage. To Barbershop we go, toward the back alley. Get ready for trophies, get ready for nades, get ready for some bad steps because here come the bullets. Early exchanges coming forward, an all-out headbutt, and for good reason. The hard point calls for it. Into it we go. HyDra able to find another as New York jump right on in.
Everyone's just trying to get a haircut, man. Chairs are stacked towards the Barbershop, but it's going to be New York able to come out on top in the trades. Now it's all about holding down this pressure, but they cannot. Fellow finds 2 in the feed. And Florida are able to find the instant break right on back. So now with 30 seconds left, New York are still going to put pressure. 2 players pushing up through the back alley. They know that they don't want to give up all this time. The other 2 guys are cutting their losses. They're trying to set up around 10 again.
Yep, a good retake there for the Mutineers as they look great to walk away with the final 15. I was going to say player 5, the player to look out for in Capsule. Trying to be a scout, he just gets a wonderful spawn. He just spawned toward the top side. New York are gonna have no idea that he's here, and he gets 2 for free. He gets 2 for free. KiSMET eventually finds him, but that spawn, without a doubt, gives Mutineers the early advantage.
Yeah, Capsule gets the COD gods to bless him in that situation. So now Florida able to find this early break on towards the Courtyard Hill. New York are all trying to push out from Garage, but it's Florida with more bodies there winning these trades.
They are indeed. A big moment, a big spot right now for the Mutineers as they're able to clean up all 4, and there is no better time than right now to go to a listing with the Mutineers.
Big door, keep looking left.
I got you.
You want your own make-up, Cap?
Okay.
You should go, Tyler.
It's a good time.
I am. I'm backing up.
You should go, Cap.
Yeah,
I'm
go.
gonna hold you down for a little bit longer.
Where are we going? What's up?
Go hedge here, go hedge.
Carson, go, Tyler.
Leaving.
Could be deep to my right.
He's subbing?
Take your time. Try to play for an entry.
One's laying down tunnel, KiSMET. He's just laying down.
I think we're carpet. Guys, go carpet. Guys, go carpet. We're going carpet. We're going carpet.
Left tunnel weak. He went left. He went Z. Kiss. Z.
When's
Trips?
Absolute trips.
Priestahh trips.
I'm taking a long route.
Yeah, go left. Don't play heads.
One's head shouldering, one's tunnel, and then one's top new.
One was trips, okay?
Okay, I heard it.
Go carpet.
Still trips. Trips is 1 shot. He's just laying down back there.
He's trips holding tunnel. You can't.
Look over. Trips is weak.
Trips coming.
Need to kill that guy, guys.
Good job. I still spawn Courtyard. I'm coming. Gold. One's hit me on you. That's 2 dead.
I'm flying.
Yeah, you can go. Find your trips, 1 shot.
Weak, I hit
He ran
him
towards
once or
Barber.
twice. He's by Barber.
He's fake stun.
Make sure you play these ones.
What's behind me? Fuck. What's
He
behind
can
me?
be Barber.
He's still here, guys.
He's really weak. Good job.
Look for.
I don't see anything back alley.
No,
I'm
he's
pressuring
shouting me
this.
hold, bro. Fuck.
He's signed corner. He's
And the Florida Mutineers, I don't know about you, Lana, but it felt like they were in a library or something. Everyone was just whispering. They were all just staying super locked in. No one high energy. As they were trying to set up the break in towards Cantinas, but New York with a full 60 hold, able to get themselves right back into this game. Florida do a great job putting themselves on the preferred side of the map for this next hill. They are set up fully for this parking lot hill.
Yeah, and it feels like this HP very well could tell the tale of really what the rest of this series could look like. And, well, it's looking quite nicely there for the Subliners. I was going to say, if Mutineers hold, that very well could be a sign of things to come. But on the flip side, Subliners there for the break, a full 60 on that last hill, and right now they are primed and ready to get some great time now at P7. Capsule, all right, eventually does get found out. Nice long-term gunfight there with the French Phenom. HyDra currently stalled, but the rest of his teammates are doing everything that they need. Falls off the 5 spree, but New York, a great answer. And the Mutineers will find the last few seconds, but Jade, this is very much so a neck and neck game. Battle now going down toward the bottom side of the map, and that has got to be the focus for right now. Pistol out, Skyz gets a little dicey. Able to find it, and now New York preferred map positioning.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, that New York are going to change the score around. Second rotation in the hard points is setting himself up properly for that Cantina Hill where Florida found a lot of success. So far, the Mutineers, they're getting all the kills in the feed. Skyz is going to turn around, put his back towards Brack, and now with Florida picking up all those kills, they are able to flip the map. They're getting closer and closer to that 250-point mark. But HyDra, my name is Paco. He strikes again. He finds 3.
My name is Paco. HyDra, my word. Having an answer, and he's going to need another one, but you can guarantee that he's going to have himself a moment. Now on 5 in a row, 1 away from the cruise. However, a few players have started to make their way toward the backside.
Got to back
Mutineers, they have an angle, they have a chance. Player number 7 not going to get any close spawns, so with that, sweat off the brow, HyDra eventually falls off of his spree. And now here come Florida. They've got numbers for the moment.
Look at the spawns for New York all the way at 10, so it's going to be all out pressure for Florida through the back alley. HyDra knows that this is where you have to invest that cruise missile, give the information to your teammates and where they're all coming from as they find 3 in the feed. And now they're going to be able to get fully set up for bottom cantinas. Florida have to try to find a break. There's 3 stacking through that barbershop alley.
Need a break now. As we said, for the Mutineers, this game is huge. Momentum is starting to go the other direction. It's starting to favor the left side of the screen. Fellow able to find one, but Skyz is able to answer. Can Caesar find another? Presence felt. A few tagged, a few shots exchanged. 15 seconds still to fight for. Meanwhile, that rotation is happening. Skyz wins his fight, and on the other side, I believe it's New York who also are in the driver's seat, but here comes Brack. Can this streak deliver? Yes, it does. Brack able to find one, and now it's Florida who find themselves in desperate need of a bit of map positioning. An all-out headbutt now. Into 10 we go, 3 down.
That's good work right there for Florida to get that cruise missile invested so you get all the information on where they're trying to break in from. They find all the kills. They are also able to shut down HyDra. Capsule currently on a 3 spree, trying to turn up for the Florida Mutineers. This has been such a back and forth hard point, but it's looking like Florida going to take the lead right on back.
Oh my God, another lead change. Capsule doesn't know where to look. Does not know where to look, and from there,
Skyz,
oh, he does not spot Fellow from the top. That's a big 1v1. Mutineers, now we're able to grab that, and now it's a battle of the rotations. It has been all-out chaos, and it begins again.
New York just had 2 players spawning towards the middle of Godheady because Florida had a couple players spawn out towards back alley bananas. And now, it looked like to be Florida, after winning all those gunfights, are now not going to have those preferred spawns. New York can potentially win it here, but now you have one player, KiSMET, spawning all the way across the map. Florida has to put on the pressure.
We talked about it in our opening hard point. So many HPs lately for New York have been going down to the wire, and they have been losing them. Can it be the opportunity? Could this be the catalyst? Or is it chaos again? It is chaos again! Florida find every single kill, and now they find themselves in the best position possible. NYSL beginning to scramble. A few more kills, and this could be series. This could be series. Fellow drops. Capsule, the big 1v1. He's able to take it. Oh, big cap. Not able to find another. And now for New York, it could come down to this. Havoc, if he wins this, that could be game. If Havoc wins it, did they get the tick? Did they get the tick? Is it game? Is this it? Is this it? Yes, it is. Talk about big brain plays. Route man gets paid again. Havoc, no opportunity to hesitate. Everybody, every single player was thinking about their rotation, Jay, except for one. That being Colt. He goes for the last second challenge. He wins that. And the Mutineers call series. How's that for an upset?
Man, that was not expected, Matt. Usually in those final moments, when you find yourself in a situation where you could win off of that old hill, if Havoc doesn't find that 1v1 kill, he basically costs his team the map because you don't have the numbers off the rotation. But he timed it perfectly. Didn't check his corner. He finds that kill onto HyDra, and that time is starting to tick, man. Havoc's thinking in the back of his mind, hopefully I get this last little tick to close out the game because I potentially almost costed my team that map number 4. But he makes the heads-up play. He's able to find that final time in towards the barbershop. And what was Florida Mutineers, a team that struggled in hardpoint, take 2 versus the New York Subliners, and now send them home back.
Wild scenes so far here on just day number 2 of the OpTic Texas Major. NYSL out top 12. Our Raleigh Major winners out just like that. And it comes simply down to 1 kill. It comes down to 1 situation. Impeccable stuff. And commiserations to the Subliners, but Florida, man, just came out to play. They were gifted that opportunity to make the comeback on the hotel. They looked clinical in the Fortress Search and Destroy, and when it matters most, down the wire, down the stretch here at Mercado, as we said, man, comes down to 1-1v1, and that's it.
And now it's Florida versus OpTic.
Oh,
wow. That was a spicy one.
Woo. All right, I know Texas was excited. Maybe I think you might worry them now, Jay, but that's good for myself and studies. We toss it over to the main stage. Miles, take it away, buddy.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm joined with Fellow of the Mutineers. Fellow, congratulations on a big win.
Thank you, Miles. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
So,
you guys, thank you.
Crowd's been on your side. It's been really exciting, dude. Man, I sort of want to backpedal a little bit about the team's history. I mean, coming into this major before the team change, it felt like the Mutineers couldn't find a hard point if they spawned in it. You have helped transform that. How have you done that with the roster?
I mean, I think our did a really good job of building our team dynamic, and we have the ability to beat any team in the CDL when it comes to a respawn game mode. So obviously with a lot of success in challengers, they just trusted me, man. These guys, if I tell them to go jump in a fucking ball of fire, they'll go do it, man. And you can't ask any more from your teammates.
Love that trust. Absolutely love that. So, dude, obviously, all the game modes are pretty solid. Search and Destroy is still sound. Obviously, that 6-1's a big victory.
Yeah, we have Cold Havoc.
There you go. What about that control? I mean, is that something you're working on now? Is there any major takeaways from this series?
New York, they're a really good team. I mean, every single respawn we just played, hardpoint-wise, was insanely close. So they're a good control team, man. That's one of those matches we're going to rewatch, and we have to learn from it, right? We have to learn from it.
So do you know who you're playing next in the tournament?
Oh, I'm playing my son, Daniel Ghosty. Dan, you know what I said to you. You knew this was coming. Good luck tomorrow, kid. Good luck.
The Boogeymen, Mutineers, will be taking on OpTic tomorrow. But, mate, congratulations.
Thank you.
Brilliant victory. Enjoy the rest.
Yes,
Over to the desk now. Take it away.
Fellow playing his son, Ghosty. I like that. They know who they're about to be up against, and they're about to handle their business. What a crazy ending, Nameless. Came down to literally a 1v1, the final tick. Casters, Landon, and Study even asking, is that tick going to be enough? It was.
I didn't think it was going to be enough at the very end. Such a rogue play, but it ends up working for the squad. Just crazy plays all around. I know Fellow gave a lot of love to his teammates throughout that series, but on that map 1, it was really him, man. Like, they were down and out. He had a huge 2-piece on rotation to Plat. If he doesn't get those kills, they don't win that series. Everybody stepping up when they needed them most individually on this team. Became a great team effort.
Man, absolutely incredible performance. Florida Mutineers, everybody was against them. Obviously, we know any given day a team can win, okay? Florida Mutineers is the team that we know is talented. They're here for a reason. But, Merc, I don't think anybody predicted them to dethrone New York Subliners, yet they did it.
No, and I think the big thing here is they got to this map number 4, Mercado, right? Obviously, winning Hotel in New York's pick was huge for them. You're playing this map where I just think, you know, it's all about the fundamentals. It's all about the rotation, sort of finding the kills at the right time. And Florida did that. Like, HyDra still had his moments, but if it's another fast-paced map, then, you know, he can take over the game, right? He can win it for them. But when you get to Mercado, there's so many money hills. If you win a rotational gunfight, that just kind of takes, I wouldn't say takes the skill out of it, but it really neutralizes how many engagements these star players have.
And you got to think, like, getting bopped in that fortress, right? Like, going into that control as the Florida Mutineers, knowing that you're not a strong respawn team, and for New York to be down 0-2, and that's where they show their life, and to do it in the fashion that they did, you would think that would at least check some teams a little bit heading to that map number 4, right? When you're already not that strong of a respawn team, that was not the case for Florida, though. They came out swinging on that Mercado up against the York Subliners, so I think it's a testament to maybe some sort of run they can make in this tournament, and if you're OpTic Texas fans, you are not happy right now. I know you might have been happy in the initial, but we have the storyline of the fact that Florida always knocks out OpTic, and now we have Fellow trying to sundan Ghosty. So a whole lot of storylines going down.
Whole lot of storylines going down indeed. I'm excited. I mean, already a huge turning point, I think, in our elimination bracket. Let's do our scuff play of the game, and I think it can only be one play. It's Havoc throughout the very end of that game number 4. Mercado getting that final tick. It really came down to a 1v1. It was, of course, going to be him versus HyDra. And he catches the barrel. You can see, spots him out, takes him down, and literally in the last moment, Ali, he gets it locked in.
I mean, you're talking about a tick that I did not think was going to go through. You can see it on the faces of New York. They didn't think it was going to go through either. I mean, those milliseconds had to have just added up perfectly.
I'm starting to see the vision. You know, we talked about pre-match, like with this Florida team, what they were looking to do in the middle of that process, right? Some growing pains, but they win both hardpoints versus the New York Subliners. And then you could see on land, at least, the search and destroy, absolutely phenomenal. Havoc went out and did his thing. So Florida in a pretty good spot. And they got a date with OpTic Texas.
That's right.
We know what happens when Florida goes up.
It's going to be a banger for sure. I'm sure we're going to have that tomorrow without question. Florida Mutineers surprising everybody, including us. Our prediction, I guess it was wrong, but that's just the way it goes. Hey, at the end of the day, the players, they hold destiny in their fingertips. But hey, let's talk about our team of the major where you all can get involved. The Scuff team of the major is back again. We did it at Boston. Now we're doing it here in Texas. The CDL experts will select the top 8 players. Then you, the fans, will vote for your favorites. The 4 players with the most votes will become the Scuff team of the major. So I guess the experts will be voting, and we'll see what you all have to say. But of course, get your what?
Scump was on it last time somehow.
Man.
Was he actually? Okay.
I don't know how we managed that one.
That was for the stage, though, right? Not the major. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Well, hey, get involved. Like I said, team of the major. We'd love to hear what you all have to say. We got one more series to go. It's going to be LA Thieves versus the Las Vegas Legion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.